Goliath had emerged from the Philistine ranks, mocking the Israelites and issuing his challenge once more. "I know your pride, you just wanted to see the battle." During a time of great struggle for Israel, the Philistines gathered their armies for battle, positioning themselves on one side of a valley. On the opposite side stood King Saul and his warriors, filled with fear and uncertainty. In the midst of the Philistine ranks was their champion, Goliath of Gath, a terrifying giant who struck fear into the hearts of Israel's army. Before we continue this amazing story, if you are a child of God, like and subscribe and share this video to help us fight the devil's mission here on earth. Towering over 9 feet tall, Goliath was a warrior since his youth, clad in gleaming bronze armor and wielding a massive spear that resembled a weaver's beam. Day after day for 40 days, Goliath stepped forward, taunting Israel and challenging them to send a man to fight him. His words sowed despair among the Israelites, and none dared to step forward. Far from the battlefield, in the quiet town of Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David tended his father Jesse's sheep. The youngest of 8 brothers, David was no stranger to hardship, yet he possessed a bold and unwavering faith in God. One day, Jesse called David to him with an important task. He instructed his son to take provisions, parched grain, bread, and cheese to his brothers on the battlefield and to check on their well-being. David obeyed without hesitation. Rising early, he entrusted his flock to a keeper and made his way to the Israelite camp. As David arrived, the sounds of war cries echoed through the valley. He greeted his brothers, but their conversation was interrupted by a familiar, booming voice. Goliath had emerged from the Philistine ranks, mocking the Israelites and issuing his challenge once more. His presence sent waves of fear through the Israelite army. Puzzled by the fear he witnessed, David asked, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he defies the armies of the living God?" His boldness caught the attention of others, including his eldest brother Eliab, who rebuked him sharply. "Why are you here, David? Shouldn't you be watching the sheep?" "I know your pride, you just wanted to see the battle." David, unshaken, replied calmly, "What have I done now? Is there not a cause?" Word of David's boldness quickly reached King Saul, who summoned the young shepherd to him. Standing before the king, David declared, "Let no man's heart fail because of this Philistine. Your servant will fight him." Saul, incredulous, responded, "You are just a boy." Goliath has been a warrior his entire life, but David spoke with quiet confidence, recounting his experiences as a shepherd. He told the king how he had killed both a lion and a bear while protecting his father's sheep, and how he believed this Philistine would be no different. "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the bear will deliver me from his hand," David said. Moved by David's faith, Saul agreed, saying, "Go, and may the Lord be with you." Saul offered David his own armor, but it was too large and cumbersome. David removed it, saying, "I cannot go in these." Instead, he chose what he knew best, his staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones from a brook. As David approached the battlefield, Goliath sneered at him, mocking his youth and his weapons. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he roared. "Come here, and I'll feed your flesh to the birds and beasts." But David stood firm, his faith unshaken. He replied, "You come to me with a sword, a spear, and a shield, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Today, the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and take your head. All the earth will know there is a God in Israel." The tension in the valley was palpable as Goliath moved toward David, his massive frame looming. But David didn't wait. He ran to meet the giant, reaching into his bag to retrieve a stone. Placing it in his sling, he let it fly. The stone struck Goliath's forehead with precision, sinking deep. The giant staggered and fell face first to the ground. A stunned silence swept over the battlefield as the Philistine champion lay motionless. Seizing the moment, David ran forward, took Goliath's own sword, and cut off his head. The sight of their fallen champion sent the Philistine army fleeing in terror. Emboldened by the miraculous victory, Israel's warriors pursued the Philistines, striking them down and plundering their camp. When David returned to the camp, carrying Goliath's head as proof of God's power, King Saul marveled. "Whose son are you, young man?" he asked. David replied, "I am the son of your servant Jesse, the Bethlehemite." That day, David's faith and courage not only delivered Israel but also set him on the path to greatness. The shepherd boy had become a symbol of God's power to use the unlikely and the humble for his glory. David's story serves as a reminder that no obstacle is too great when faced with faith in God. With the Lord on our side, the giants in our lives, fear, doubt, and adversity, can be conquered. For the battle is not ours but the Lord's, and He is mighty to save. Remember to like, subscribe, and share to help spread the word of the Lord. This will bring blessings to your family. Type this in the comment section if you believe in God. I will trust in the name of the Lord, my strong tower, and find safety in His unfailing protection.